Hello, Michael J. Brown here, and I wanted to do a quick video on rhythm playing, rhythm guitar. I was recently searching on YouTube and didn't really see a whole lot of things on there that really kind of covered what I consider basics when it comes to playing rhythm. Rhythm guitar is one of the most important parts of any band. If you don't have a good rhythm player, then you're not going to have anything to solo over, and you're not going to have something for the vocalist to really project whatever the message is that he's given in his song. So rhythm guitar, in my opinion, and again, I've been playing guitar for a long time and played a lot of different rhythms, and a lot of the original songs that I write, people seem to have a little trouble picking them up. And I think a lot of it has to do with the ability to feel the beat. I was raised and played in school bands. I played the saxophone for years, and they always taught us to tap our foot. And one of the biggest issues that I see a lot of rhythm players doing is they try to keep the beat with their strum. And that may work on some songs, but most songs it will not. And you have to really feel the song when you're playing rhythm. Every song has an emotion that it wants to put forth, and the rhythm guitar and the dynamics of that song is where that emotion comes from. So if you're playing the same volume all the time, and strumming like that, you're not going to be a very good rhythm player. You've got to really feel it. Dynamics into your rhythm. Once you begin to do that, then you can start, you can start to build from there and really make a creative song. I like to write a lot of songs that have chords as notes. So one recent song I wrote, it goes like this. It goes. That line. When I can't sleep at night, I know why. And a rhythm guitarist that can't play, can't finger his chords fast enough, obviously that's going to be a problem with that song. And a lot of times I see people that can't go to this B minor and switch from that quickly. So you need to have your chords down, you need to be able to finger them and be able to switch from them pretty quick. Part of that has to do with some of the ways you've learned the chords. A lot of people play G like this, but for most songs you need to learn to play it like this with your little finger and add that note. Colors it in, and it makes it easier to switch. You can switch from your G to C just. You don't even have to move this finger to go to the D chord. And so you need to learn to do things in a way that are going to help you change quickly and change frequently to other progressions. I like a lot of songs that have the D over the G sharp over, or F sharp over D, G flat, F sharp, whatever you want to call it. And if you haven't learned to finger it right, I have one song that I wrote that goes. I finger it, I can easily move between those chords. But you have to really feel the beat. I listened to one guy and he was saying, the low strings are keeping beat with the bass drum and the higher ones are with the snare. And that's probably okay, but you've got to be able to feel the beat to get some syncopation. songs songs that have, you know, those syncopated beats. I wrote a song. That little rhythm thing there seems to be difficult for people when you're going. And so you've got to be able to feel the beat. I got in the habit, like I said, tapping my foot, and that's usually how I'll keep time, either my heel or my toe. And it keeps me on the beat without having to worry about having my strumming get off. Another thing that's really important that I think, and I see a lot of really good rhythm players do, is you have to have a loose wrist. You can't try to use your arm. Your arm's going to be too stiff. You got to get your wrist involved. If your wrist isn't involved, you're not going to be able to play more complicated rhythms. So keep your wrist loose. Also help you when you start playing lead. It's because you can get that wrist, and a lot of times you want to use the butt of your hand, your palm on your right hand, to kind of mute the strings. And it helps you get a real distinct tone that for the chords that you're playing. If you're just always doing the, you know. You're going to have trouble getting different parts of songs down and playing them correctly, because the rhythm part is really, like I said, what the vocals are built over. But those are just a few pointers that I think will help you. First of all, get to where you can feel the beat, tap your foot if you need to, and then begin to develop, you know, more. Get different rhythm strokes and rhythm patterns, and become a creative rhythm player where you're not doing the same thing all the time. It's another thing that I see a lot of people have trouble doing is upstrokes. And every song will have different chords that need to play with a downstroke, but they also need to have other chords that need to be played with an upstroke. You can definitely tell the difference in the way it sounds. You know, Redneck Girl is what that was from. And play those chords with an upstroke on your right hand. You know, Joe Walsh, in a recent interview that I saw, he said he can always tell someone who is a polished guitarist by their right hand. And your right hand has got to develop in order for you to be a good rhythm player. Anyway, I hope some of these pointers help you, and keep playing. Get it to where you feel the beat so you don't have to try to keep time with your right hand. And then have fun playing the guitar and play some funky things.